Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive shift in the world of artificial intelligence. Based on some new analysis, we're going to look at just how much the landscape for AI ethics and bias has completely changed as of 2026.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question. For years, we've talked about fairness in AI as this aspirational goal, right? Something to strive for. But what if it wasn't a choice anymore? What if it was the law?
Well, that's not a hypothetical anymore. In 2026, it is. Fairness in AI is now a mandate. This isn't some far-off prediction. It's the new reality that we're going to break down right here in this explainer.
We have truly hit a major ethical crossroads for AI. The whole era of treating fairness as some kind of optional add-on, that's over. We've moved way past vague promises to a world of concrete, measurable, and most importantly, audited requirements.
So what's behind this massive change? How did we get here? It really comes down to a convergence of forces that have built what you can think of as three new pillars of accountability for the entire AI industry. And here they are. First, you've got governments all over the world finally enforcing some seriously strict accountability laws. Second, the big tech companies themselves are building fairness checks right into their product development. It's not an afterthought. And third, the courts are stepping in, holding companies legally and financially liable when their AI causes discriminatory harm. These three things together have totally changed the game.
And you can really see the transformation laid out right here. I mean, look at the old way, before 2026. Mitigating bias was something you thought about later, if at all. The only real risk was maybe some bad PR. Now, look at the 2026 way. It's an integrated part of the process. It's an audited requirement, and the accountability? We're talking real legal and financial liability. The days of vague claims and just saying trust us are gone.
But, and this is a really big but, this new framework is not a silver bullet. Not even close. In fact, by solving some of the old problems, we've basically uncovered a whole new set of deeper, much more complex challenges.
The first big one is something called intersectional bias. Now, this is where things get really tricky. It's not just about bias against a single category, like race or gender. It's about what happens when those identities overlap and intersect. And here's a perfect way to think about it. An AI model could be tuned to be fair to women as a group and also fair to people with disabilities as a group. But for a woman with a disability, the system could still be wildly biased against her because it just can't handle that layered complexity. This compounding effect is a massive hurdle for the AI models we have today.
The second major challenge is this growing global divide. It's a huge problem. You've got wealthier nations with access to all the advanced auditing tools, sophisticated ways to fix bias, and strong regulations to back it all up. But then you have developing regions, which are often getting hit with untested AI systems and just don't have the same resources or protections. This is creating a really dangerous inequality in who is actually safe from AI harm.
So, we're still fighting these three core ethical battles, right? There's the really tough technical challenge of intersectional bias, the geopolitical problem of global inequality, and the classic corporate hurdle of transparency, where companies can just say trade secrets to avoid telling us what's really going on under the hood.
And this all leads us to the next part of the story. Because solving one problem can kind of paradoxically create a whole new set of risks. Every action has a reaction, and forcing fairness has had some unintended consequences.
We're seeing marketing claims like this pop up everywhere now. It's a phenomenon that people are calling fairness washing. Companies are making these big, bold claims about how ethical their AI is to win our trust, but sometimes the substance behind that claim is, well, pretty thin.
And that question right there gets to the heart of the problem. When a company says its AI is certified, what does that even mean? Who is doing the certifying? Without a universal standard, those claims can be pretty misleading.
So these are the new trade-offs we're dealing with. First, the risk of these false fairness claims without any real independent verification. Second, you have what's called regulatory fragmentation. Different rules in different countries create loopholes that companies can and do exploit. And finally, there's the job market. Yeah, it's great that AI can reduce bias in hiring, but it also brings up very real concerns about automating people right out of their jobs.
Okay, so what do we do about all this? In this brand new landscape, what are the concrete steps we need to take to actually move forward responsibly?
Well, the analysis lays out some pretty clear actions for everyone involved. For businesses, the message is simple. Adopt standardized benchmarks and let independent third-party auditors check your work. It's the only real way to build trust. For policymakers, the big push has to be for global standards to close those loopholes and protect everyone, everywhere. And for us, the users, we have to demand transparency. We need to start asking the tough questions about the AI systems we interact with every single day.
So, the key takeaway here, the bottom line is this: the era of voluntary, feel-good AI ethics is over. We are now officially in an era of regulation, benchmarks, and real accountability.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. We've successfully made fairness a requirement, but does that requirement actually guarantee a fair outcome? That, right there, is the next big challenge we're all going to be facing.